Hey everyone, my name is Spencer Balke and I'm here for your solution video for week 11 of Workout Wednesday Power BI Edition. So let's hop right into it. So this week we're going to be working with a couple of different items. One is going to be connecting to an example data set within Power BI. The other is going to be creating some DAX using some different functions to transform the data that we're looking at so that we're able to do some of these variance to budget charts that we may not have been able to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to connect to some data sets on Power BI service. So what I first want you all to do is go into powerbi.com, and I'm going to bring that up here in just 1 second. So I'm going to show you all my instance of Power BI service. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my workspace, and you can see some of the items that I have here. And I'm going to go to get data on the left hand side, and this brings up this screen with a few options. You can get some data via files, that's been shared to you in your organization, but you can also go down here to samples. And so this week we are going to use one of the examples here. In this case, we're going to use the IT spend analysis. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on that button, and you're going to click connect, and then it's going to import that data. And the reason I went to my workspace first is because whatever workspace you're on, it's going to bring that in. So you can see that it brought in this duplicate. I had already done it once, so it brought in this duplicate data set. I'm actually going to delete this just for our sake, just so we don't have this in here twice. But that is how you import that data. And so if you were to go to your Power BI desktop, go in and you can go to your data hub, and now go to Power BI data sets. You're going to see that this IT spend analysis example is going to be in here, so we're going to go ahead and connect to that. So now what I do want to do is show you what essentially that we're doing here, and why some of the DAX that we're doing matters. So if we go in here and look at a line chart of our date, so I'm just putting a date on the x-axis, and then go to the measures and the fact table. I'm going to look at actual. So when you get data that looks like this, there's a high probability that this is not actuals, that this is cumulative values, because you never see it go down. Now, it could absolutely be real, right? We don't know, but in this case, I do know, because I looked into it, and I know that it is in fact cumulative in the amounts per the month, and so it's essentially the totals of this actual or totals of this amount. Down here one more time. At the end of each month, or in this case, the beginning of each month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple calculations on how to, put this up, take this over to the side. I'm going to show you a couple of calculations that will help us understand how we actually calculate by month. And so you saw the issue here when trying to create, sorry, I know there was a reason that I had brought this up, is that when you look at your trending, you see that these are actuals and not cumulative values. So this is something that we want to recreate, so that we don't always have the line just going up, because that doesn't tell us much in terms of trending. So what we want to do is, knowing our data format, we want to isolate how much changed for each month, and so that's what we're going to do. So how I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to create a new measure in this measures table. Notice, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just say, okay, what are my actuals for the month? I'm going to use variables. I'm a big user of variables. I like to break these calculations out into the different steps so that my mind can think about them. And so that's why I use variables a lot less, even for functionality, just more so for me understanding how to do these. So what I want to do is I want to take a month value, and then what I want to do is I want to find the difference between the last month and this month, right? So that's will essentially return me the actuals. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a calculate function, and we're going to take that actual value, and what we're going to do is for every date, we are going to use the date add function, and we are going to go back 1 month. So if you look at the syntax here, we're calculating the actual for the date minus 1 month. And now you can see that all the dates are all 12, 1, and so they all line up. And so this should, this does work. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take our actual, which is each row has that actual value. And so we're going to go actual minus the variable we just created previous month. And now it just created that actual month value. Okay. Guess I should do currency. Match the other ones. Zero decimals. Okay. So now you can actually see the differences here, and we're going to do the same thing. So you can actually see that these are the actual amounts instead of just the cumulative values. We're going to do the same thing for the plan, because the plan is also cumulative, and what we're essentially trying to accomplish here is a variance to plan metric. Right, so we want to find what we're at, we want to find what the plan is, and then we want to find the difference. So in this case, we're going to take the plan, so using the calculate function, take the plan, and we're going to go back 1 month from our date. Forgot about parentheses. Return. I'm going to say, okay, take this plan minus the previous month that I just made. Say, okay. So now what I'm going to get is I'm also going to get the plan. Okay, so you can see the plan, you can see the actuals, and now what I'm going to do is you can, we're going to take we're going to find the actual variance to plan here, and I know there's a variance to plan percentage here, but what we're going to do is we're going to create that our own. So we're going to say variance to plan. We're going to divide. So we got to get our numerator, which is going to be our actuals, minus our plan, divided by the plan. the plan. We're going to bring this down. Okay, let's format that. Click on it. Sorry. Percentage. Okay. So that is actually a cumulative instead of every month. So again, that's what that variance of plan is doing, is a cumulative plan. This is breaking it out by month, but you'll see here in a second. It's actually completely fine. Okay, so now we have our data, and so what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and create the dashboard that's already in there, and so we're just going to do this pretty quickly because you all can go see here, and we can show you the dashboard again. It's not extremely complicated. I just put these values up here. Okay. There's really nothing tricky here in terms of the design. Yep, just date and our actuals, date and our plan, and then our variance to plan percentage, and that is actually showing it over time. So that is actually going to show there. But anyway, I guess we can just build this out super quickly, and then we can be done with the video. So we're actually just going to color this canvas background slightly different color. Let's see, we can just create these charts. So now we're going to go down, grab the date, put that in our x-axis, put this in our y-axis. Great. So yeah, I think we made them a bar in the other one. So there you go. Let's see here. Oh, okay, the transparency was turned to 100. Well, that's one reason why. Okay, so we got this value. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take card. We're actually going to do so we did total spend. So this is still fine. Okay, so actuals go here. And I do like to put them together like this so you can actually kind of, you can see them together like a KPI box. One thing that I would like to do here is call out instead of having the actual and actuals to date labels really close to another. What you can do is you can turn on the title, okay, and you can make this total spend, right? And so center that, and then we can turn off the call out label, so we know this is total spend. And then this guy, we can go in here and work on the title, make that in the middle. We can go and definitely make it smaller so that we know that this is actuals. In this case, we can just say spend. Fine. There you go. There you go. And so that makes that KPI card look. And so what we can do is we can just do a little Control C, Control V, because we are going to be doing some very similar things for the other metrics. So these are all going to go over just a bit. Total spend becomes plan. And then the plan by month, now you can plop it here instead of, oops, now what you can do is we will Control C, Control V one more time. If you come in here, okay. Let's see. In this case, the way that we broke this out, we have our variance to plan, and then our date. And you can see our biggest variances to plan by date here. So that's pretty interesting. That early on we were down in the hole. And again, this is not cumulative. This is by month. If we were going to go cumulative, you could go here, right? So like we saw with the actuals, we were down very early, so we were down to plan. And then we got brought back up. So you can see that this is 27.9, the first month of the cumulative. It was also 27 or 27.2, excuse me. That's what I meant. Yeah, so you can kind of see how those numbers tie out there. So, cool. All right, and then your other ones are just different ways of doing these same sort of items, and so I'll leave you all to do the remainder there. But that's how you connect to that data set in Power BI Service. That's how you do some of the DAX to convert your cumulative to your every month. And I hope this was helpful. If you need any more help, please hit us up on Twitter at JSBauke or any of the other awesome folks that help run the Power BI Workout Wednesday. Awesome. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.